the Liverpool transfer window is heating up fast. From shock moves and blockbuster deals to fiery contract standoffs, the Reds are at the center of it all. Luis Diaz could be Bayern-bound Germany, Hugo Ekitike's £79 million move is official, and Alexander Isak and Florian Wirtz are stirring major Anfield buzz. Plus, Ibrahima Konate's future hangs in the balance. Buckle up, Liverpool fans, this summer is just getting started. Here's a full breakdown of all the major twists, confirmed deals, and potential shock moves rocking Anfield this summer. Romano drops update as Luis Diaz now open to Bayern move. Liverpool could be edging closer to a major decision on Luis Diaz after Fabrizio Romano reported on X that the Colombian has now opened doors to a transfer to Bayern Munich. The Bundesliga giants are preparing a new proposal for our number 7, who scored 17 goals and assisted 8 times across 50 games in all competitions last season. Romano claims Bayern see Diaz as their top priority but are also exploring Malik Fofana as a plan B if the deal can't be pushed through. The update places the decision firmly in our hands, though the suggestion that Diaz is now open to the move is a significant shift in tone. Liverpool could be forced to react fast as winger stance changes. With Federico Chiesa also linked with a departure after being left out of our pre-season tour, Romano notes that Liverpool would surely bring in a new winger if Lucho and Chiesa both leave, which matches with long-term expectations from the recruitment team. Arne Slot has shown a clear preference for Cody Gakpo on the left wing, which looks to limit Diaz's starting opportunities for next season. The 28-year-old has been a reliable performer, but if we're building toward a new-look front line led by Hugo Ekitike, his exit could form part of a wider evolution. Liverpool's front line could change drastically for next season. Liverpool have already signed Florian Wirtz this summer, giving us flexibility in the final third if a winger were to leave. We've also seen Jeremy Frimpong arrive from Bayer Leverkusen, which could bolster our attacking options further with his ability to play on the right wing. Although Bayern's interest is not new, news that a bid could reportedly arrive soon shows that the situation is clearly advancing. Hugo Ekitike medical confirmed after £79 million transfer deal as Liverpool add-ons explained. Liverpool are hopeful Hugo Ekitike can join up with the squad in Asia later this week after £79 million transfer agreed with Eintracht Frankfurt. Hugo Ekitike is on the brink of sending Liverpool's summer rebuild rocketing beyond the £250 million mark, and will link up with his new teammates in Asia once the formalities of his transfer have been completed. The Reds have thrashed out a deal with Eintracht Frankfurt for Ekitike that could eventually see them splash out £79 million for the 23-year-old striker. The Bundesliga side are guaranteed a fee of £69 million with a further possible £10 million in add-ons that will require success for both Liverpool and Ekitike to be achieved. With the deal agreed, the French forward has been given permission to travel from Germany to complete his transfer with the expectation he will arrive in the UK on Tuesday for a medical. While a large party of players and officials are now in Hong Kong for the first leg of Liverpool's Far East tour, the club have kept a number of staff at home to complete the signing, including medical staff and sporting director Richard Hughes. Ekitike has already agreed personal terms on a 6-year contract that will tie him to the Reds until the summer of 2031. Once the formalities have been completed, it is hoped the player will then fly out to join the Liverpool squad in Asia later in the week. The Reds play AC Milan in Hong Kong on Saturday before moving on to Japan to play Yokohama F. Marinos the following Wednesday. It is understood the add-ons are similar to those negotiated with Bayer Leverkusen as part of the club record £116 million deal to sign Florian Wirtz last month. While they are regarded difficult to achieve, the success required means Liverpool would have no qualms with the additional outlay. Ekitike, who scored 22 goals in 48 games last season, has emerged as one of the most sought-after strikers in Europe, having started his career at Reims and then spent 18 months at Paris Saint-Germain before moving to Frankfurt at the start of 2024. Frankfurt rejected an offer of €80 million, £69.4 million, from Newcastle United last week with none of the add-ons agreed, and were seeking a package nearer €100 million, £86.7 million. He Magpies then withdrew from the negotiating table once the player made clear his preference to join Liverpool, who have now successfully reached an agreement. Ekitike's imminent arrival continues Liverpool's overhaul of their forward options this summer. Darwin Núñez is increasingly expected to leave. Luis Diaz is a major target for Bayern Munich and Barcelona, the future of Federico Chiesa, who has missed the Asia trip with a minor issue, is uncertain. Teenager Ben Doak is wanted by several clubs, and the Reds are also contending with the tragic death of Diogo Jota earlier this month. Alexander Isak agent has left door open for Liverpool transfer as intrigue grows. The agent of Newcastle United striker Alexander Isak has set tongues wagging over possible Liverpool move with his latest comments. So much for a straightforward summer. The moment there appears clarity in Liverpool's attempts to remold their attack, so the waters are muddied shortly afterwards. Such has been the case during the last 24 hours, with the Reds moving towards a conclusion in their pursuit of Eintracht Frankfurt striker Hugo Ekitike. Talks reached a breakthrough on Monday with a deal agreed that will see Liverpool commit £79 million to sign the France under-21 international forward. But as the finer details were being thrashed out, along came comments from the representative of Newcastle United striker Alexander Isak, who has long been courted by the Reds as a potential new signing. Speaking in an interview with Saudi Arabian publication Ariadía, Gonzalo Gaitán said, "We are indeed studying and analyzing all options, and we may be close to finalizing the next step for the player, without revealing any details regarding whether Isak will transfer or stay with Newcastle." So much for playing down speculation that increased after Newcastle boss Eddie Howe decided to send Isak home from the weekend friendly at Celtic rather than have him sit in the stands and attract attention, the Sweden international having been left out due to not quite having sufficient fitness to feature in the 4-0 defeat. The situation of Isak is a fascinating one. In the northeast, there is an acceptance the player has understandably been unsettled by the speculation surrounding his future, not helped by a proposed new contract, the prospect of which was first raised last year, having not yet been forthcoming. Newcastle are in a state of flux in their corridors of power at present, given they have no sporting director and are seeking a chief executive with incumbent Darren Eales stepping down due to health concerns. While Isak's outstanding performances last season suggest he wasn't overly affected by the uncertainty on the field, the matter has caused his agent in particular to bristle. Newcastle's owners remain steadfast they won't the player sell this summer and are realistically under no financial pressure to do so, and are still keen to offer Isak a lucrative new deal. But the longer that stays unresolved, so the player could have his head turned. And Liverpool are on alert. Florian Wirtz Liverpool transfer sparks bitter row as Bayer Leverkusen chief hits out. Liverpool pipped Bayern Munich to the signing of Florian Wirtz last month for a British transfer record of £116.5 million in a major coup, but Borussia Dortmund's chief believes the decision weakened the Bundesliga. Bayer Leverkusen chief Fernando Caro has hit back at his Borussia Dortmund counterpart after criticizing the club for selling Florian Wirtz to Liverpool instead of Bayern Munich. Wirtz eventually joined Liverpool in a British record £116.5 million deal, but the player looked destined to join Bundesliga rivals Bayern after his incredible recent seasons that inspired Leverkusen to their first ever league title in 2024. But the playmaker had a change of heart after speaking with Reds boss Arne Slot as he linked up with the Premier League champions. Leverkusen's decision to sell to a team in a different league was met with opposition by Dortmund chief Hans-Joachim Watzke, who said the situation was a real shame because it made the Bundesliga a weaker division. It's a real shame, especially for the DFL, that a player like Florian Wirtz is leaving the Bundesliga, Watzke told Kicker. I wouldn't have had a problem at all if he had gone to FC Bayern. That would have been better for the Bundesliga. It doesn't really matter for the national team. He'll play at the highest level in Liverpool, too. He could have worked better with Jamal Musiala in Munich, but two such good footballers can find each other anyway. But Caro said he didn't understand how a top German club in Dortmund would want Bayern to get stronger by signing another top player from the Bundesliga, and said by selling to Liverpool it ensured the division remained more competitive. Honestly, yes. I have a different opinion than Hans-Joachim Watzke, Saro said, speaking to Welt am Sonntag. I don't understand how he, as the boss of Borussia Dortmund, could have been happy if Wirtz had gone to Munich. That would have made Bayern even stronger. I want an exciting Bundesliga. I'm happy when more clubs, besides us, make life difficult for Bayern, because I believe that benefits the Bundesliga. It comes after the player's father, also called Hans Joachim, revealed how Slot convinced Wirtz to join Liverpool after laying out his vision to the youngster and explaining how he would fit into his tactical setup at Anfield. Arne Slot presented his playing philosophy, the team tactics in possession and pressing, and how Florian can develop his strengths in these areas, he said. This made a decisive impression on Florian. The training conditions in Liverpool were also totally impressive. Richard Hughes, aware of Ibrahima Konate contract demands as decision left in Liverpool's hands. Ibrahima Konate has reportedly informed Liverpool sporting director Richard Hughes of the terms that he's seeking in order to extend his contract at the club. The centre-back is now into the final 12 months of his current deal, and transfer insider Graham Bailey claimed in June that the France international is demanding big money if he's to remain at Anfield. The Reds reportedly want a decision to be made on his future one way or another by the end of August so that, if it becomes apparent that an agreement won't be struck, they'd still be able to sell him for a good fee rather than letting him walk away for nothing next year. Konate makes his contractual demands known to Liverpool chiefs. French outlet L'Equipe has now shared an update on Konate's contract situation, and it appears that the ball has been placed firmly in Hughes and Liverpool's court. They've reported that discussions over a potential renewal for the 26-year-old recommenced at the start of the summer, having been on hold for several months, and that counter-offers have been made from both sides. It's added that the Reds sporting director is aware of the defender's contractual demands and must now provide an answer as to whether or not those can be satisfied by the club. Liverpool must do their utmost to give Konate a new deal. While it's unclear how much Konate is demanding or whether that's achievable within Liverpool's wage structure, we'd like to think that all parties could find a mutually satisfactory middle ground so that a deal is struck which to keep the defender at Anfield. The 26-year-old was a key figure in our Premier League triumph last season. Only 5 men played more minutes throughout the campaign, but according to Capology, his current salary of £70,000 per week places him in the lower half of earners among Arne Slot's squad. That'd suggest that the France international is well within his rights to demand a significant pay increase if he's to extend his contract at the club, especially as he comes into what should be the prime of his career. It isn't just because of Konate's defensive prowess that Liverpool ought to do everything in their power to keep hold of him. The sale of Jarell Quansah to Bayer Leverkusen this summer has left the Reds with only 3 natural senior centre-backs, a worrying development as the new season draws ever nearer. Unless the Frenchman's demands are ridiculously out of reach for LFC, the hierarchy must be open to a degree of compromise so that they'll retain a crucial figure in the squad and eliminate the risk of losing him on a free transfer in 2026.